Okay, good evening YouTube. Welcome to this extra bonus special Friday night edition of FPL Family. Thank you for those of you that usually join us on a Sunday, joining us here on a Friday. And we thought, because we didn't do a stream last Sunday, did we?
Well, some of us were swanning around.
Some of us were swanning around nice places.
I wasn't.
You weren't. I was. You were probably somewhere quite nice.
I mean, I was in our living room on
you
Sunday night.
You were here. Okay, that's a nice place to be.
Recovering from a day of dancing rehearsals and football trials and just, general family life.
Where I was celebrating our second domestic cup win of the season. Come on, you Reds. On a yacht, yeah. Second domestic cup win of the season. So could go, as we know, from good to brilliant for Liverpool. The quadruple, folks, is still on.
Now, you've been telling me off for months for even to dare mention the word quadruple.
Well, now we've got 2 games to go and there's 2 trophies to be won. We could end up the season with 2 trophies, I understand that, but it could be 4, Sam. It could be 4. But slim chance of Liverpool winning anything, I think, tomorrow, or Sunday, let's say. But we'll talk about, obviously, Gameweek 38, and we'll talk about a very slim chance we win anything tomorrow. Yeah, very, very small chance.
Unless Klopp wins the lottery.
We win anything tomorrow. But Sunday, you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
I was just about to say stranger things have happened.
Yeah, and Aston Villa will give City a game. I'm expecting City to win, of course, but you never know, Sam. You never know.
You can see it, can't you? All over the back pages of the tabloids on Monday morning. Gerrard wins the league for Liverpool.
That's the rhetoric we've all been hoping for as Liverpool fans for weeks now. But you never know. It could happen. And of course, then we've got on the 23rd, 24th May, whenever it is, we've got the Champions League. Is it actually probably later than the 24th? Isn't it? 26th, 27th, something like that. Next Saturday is Liverpool Real Madrid in the Champions League. So that to look forward to, Reds fans as well. Glad you what?
I'm glad I know.
Glad you know when it is. I just know it's Saturday. That's
the 28th. I'm pretty sure.
28th. Fine, good. 28. And we will, of course, guys. We're gonna dive straight in. We're gonna look at our teams and where we're at after game week 37. Another big double game week ends with some more variance. I mean, this is the key. This is one of the key words in the FPL community at the minute is variance. Everyone's talking about the V word, right? And we're seeing these big swings where we have big game weeks for some people up in the 110s, 120s last game week. And then we see some people, I've seen some of our patrons when I've been putting the man of the match thing the manager of the month thing together, down in the sort of 40s, 50s. It's been another very polarising game week. But I played my free hit. We'll talk about how that went in a minute. You've got the free hit to play this week in game week 38, which, having a look at the fixtures, feels like a really nice position to be in. Some lovely games to target this weekend.
I need to get 400 points from it.
You need... Okay, that could be quite a task on your free hit. You never know. But listen, it is a good week, I think. If you've saved your free hit and you are planning to play it this game week, nice.
It's made it fun.
Nice,
I must
because
admit,
it's going to be some good picks, I think, this week. I think it's going to be good. Some big games. A lot of the big teams that have got something left to play for are at home, or they've got a good fixture. The only thing I would say is, if you've got your free hit left this week, and guys, get in the chat, let us know if you are planning to play your free hit in game week 38. And if you're watching the replay, get in the comments. I want to know who your key picks are for 38. I feel like there is almost like too much to pick from insofar as your team that you've got right now without the free hit. There's probably a few players in there that you probably wouldn't have on your free hit, but could still do quite well. You could easily put 2 or 3 squads together for the free hit, I think. of different players this week. There's a lot of choice, is what I'm saying, right? And you might not get everyone right.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of variance when you talk to, there's that word again, when you talk to the free hit managers. I mean, this week there's a couple of free hit managers that I've been speaking to that have got a very similar team to mine currently at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that I've spoken to that have got a very different team to the one that I've got at the moment. The
free hit template doesn't really exist, I don't think, for 38. There's one or two players you'd pick.
The free hit template is Son and Kane, and then it
around
varies
that, possibly.
quite a lot around those two, because I think everybody that's on a free hit is going with those two, and if you're even not on a free hit, you're probably trying to. And otherwise it's quite different, and I kind of like that. I sort of like the fact that when I decided a long time ago to play the free hit in 38, this is the position I was hoping to be in. Nothing really settled. League still up for grabs, European spots still up for grabs, relegation zone still sort of not sorted yet, because it means that you've got these clubs all with something to fight for, and it means that you've got that certainty as much as you can.
And there are clearly some teams on the beach as well. There's definitely some flip-flops out in the Premier League. So there's ones
that you go, definitely don't want to invest in you. Oh, you happen to be playing against a club that's got something massive to fight for. Brilliant, let's invest in them.
Perfect.
Or, oh, you happen to be playing against another side that might have not had something massive to fight for. But likes of Brentford, for me, are really interesting.
All right, well, listen, we'll talk more about that as we get through. You've got a free hit draft that you're going to share with everybody and some key talking points that you want to talk through. We'll talk about our teams, but before all that, Sam, we've got to say hello to a few people. Let's say hello to Raheem Khan. Hey, Raheem, one of our members. He was there on the first day when we activated the members for the YouTube channel. He was there, bang. I think he might have even been first, Raheem. I think he might have been the first.
Or was it Simon Cow's trousers?
I'm not sure about that. It might have been certainly in the top three, Raheem. Certainly in the top
Early
three.
on.
So he's got the little yellow icon next to him now. He's been around for a little while now. So Raheem, welcome to the live stream this evening. Kenneth Chung is here. Brian Springer, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, is here. How are we doing, Brian? Nice to see you. What we wouldn't give for a bit of Trinidad and Tobago sun right now.
I tell you what, I do feel like I need a holiday.
Well, the season is nearly over, Sam, so you can start booking your holidays after Sunday.
Right, you've all heard that.
The season is nearly done.
You've all heard that.
Andrew Yee is here. Hey, Andrew, how are we doing? One of our Patreon supporters, 25 points ahead of you, Sam, but no chip. He's got no chip for Gameweek 38. So those of us that are chipless, and I am one of them. I
wouldn't even bank on me getting 25 points this week. The way my season's gone.
Who knows? Josh Cleaver's here, 87 points this week. Not bad, Josh. Very good indeed. Leighton and Justine are here, or he, she, or they are here. Who should I triple captain? Leighton and Justine, they have got the triple captainship still to play. Who do you have it on?
Spot a sunshine forecast for this weekend, isn't it?
Come on. I am finding it very difficult to not have Son as one of my transfers in this week, because I don't have him right now.
You don't have any Spurs.
I don't have any Spurs because famously a few weeks ago I backed against them and then got them back in on my free hit for them to do absolutely naff all. Actually, to say that Sessegnon did very well. I'll talk about him a bit later on. Say again?
Did you get Kane?
No. I had Son.
Got the wrong one.
I had Son, who blanked for the first time in weeks.
Oh, you broke Son?
I broke Son, yeah. But now I free hit him in, so he's now out again, and I have no Spurs in my side. So more on that a bit later on. Simon Cow's trousers is here. How are you doing, Simon? Nice to see you. AD Tor is in. Nuclear Atoms, Yazin, Ali, Mark Dorney. Who else we got? We've got Keno22. A load of new names in here this evening, guys. So if you're new,
it's because it's a Friday night.
Gameweek 38.
It's the Friday night gang.
It's the final live stream before football, so we will have one on Sunday where, amongst other things, guys, we will be talking about the FPLFamily 21-22 pre-season predictions. Always one of my favourite live streams of the season. So cast your minds back to game week 1, even before game week 1. What we did, what I did, what you did, what you guys did as a community, if you remember, if you were here in game week 1, was we put our pre-season predictions on a piece of card and we sealed it. This is still sealed. This has not been opened. This is still sealed. Do you remember who you put as champions, as relegation, top FPL point scorers, etc., etc.?
Some of them I've got so wrong.
I'm pretty sure I've got one major candidate for relegation who was nowhere near relegation.
I think
nowhere near.
Yeah.
Well,
at least one, I think.
I think there could be a couple of embarrassing ones in here, guys. So if you're not subscribed, if you're new around here and you've not subscribed, subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the button so that you know when we're live on Sunday, talking about and revealing our pre-season predictions. Not just what Sam and I said, what you guys said. We have to do little polls in the community.
Karam's in there as well.
Karam's, I think our friend Karam might also have predicted as well, right? So we have lots of predictions to reveal on Sunday, and I remember who I put as champions. It'll be an interesting one. Let's just say that. It'll be an interesting one.
Could it still happen?
No. That's a bit of a spoiler alert for you. I thought Lukaku was going to do well. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about our teams. We're going to talk about this guy as well, Jamie Vardy. I've put him as the
party
the
this
player.
weekend?
The Vardy party. They are coming around a bit late this season, but last game week in the double game week did all right. Got a 15-pointer for anybody that had him, including me, which I was very happy with. So to that end, let's talk about my team.
Hang on, wait, stop.
Hold on a minute. That's his Team Sam. I've got to change that. It's my team.
No, let's not change it.
No, I'm going to change it. Wait, I'm just live in play this, look.
No, that wasn't what I was going to say. That wasn't actually what I'd spotted. What I'd spotted was, what is that? Inside the top 100k? Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, it's dizzy up here.
What's happened?
It's dizzy.
It's been about 5 years. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. To be honest, as you guys know, and obviously we didn't stream last weekend, but the weekend before that, I think I sat here and said, I'm going to take a couple of risks. I mean, we're in the end game now.
Why'd you go Pickford? Told you not to.
Not sure, to be
Told
honest.
you not to,
yeah, don't really know.
Silly sausage.
Did any goalkeeper really do well last game? I don't know.
I mean, I had Dubravka got 7.
Yeah, but
You had Pickford.
Pickford seemed like a good shout.
No, he didn't.
He did.
I think I specifically said to you.
Oh, God, get out of here, will
You could have been in the top 50k if you'd listened to your wife.
Get out of here,
Happy wife, happy life.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Don't ever go Pickford.
Well, there was a few things that didn't go my way on the free hit. Put it that way. The fact that Burnley scored last night and wiped out my... when Buendia decided to just hang a leg out and foul Cornet for a penalty and wipe out the Cash and Digne clean sheet, that was a bit disappointing. Danny Ings not getting the start yesterday, that was a bit disappointing. Kevin De Bruyne with a 2 was expecting more, quite frankly. So listen, it wasn't a universally positive free hit. I've seen better scores than 96, but I will not complain because I've got the Zaha and the Jota assist. I've got the Vardy 15-pointer, which I was happy about. I've got the Sessegnon 8-pointer, which, by the way...
Love him.
I had him in my team, and I could see that Spurs clean sheet happening, and I did what I never do, was check the live scores to see how my defenders are getting on, right? And
Why did you do that?
Well, I just thought you were 1-0 at the time, Kane penalty, and I just thought Sessegnon looked as if he'd created quite a lot, and I wondered whether he might have a bonus point or two, and he was on 8, and oh my God, I was so desperate for that 8 to stick, because even just having Sessegnon at 8, that was about 10 or 15k in rank. That was unbelievable. He was less than 1% owned, such a good differential.
As you all know, Lee wasn't with me at the weekend, and I was in a dance studio watching Evie, so I couldn't watch the games. Couldn't watch the Spurs game anyway. And at the end of the Spurs game, a text come through on my phone. It was Lee. I assumed it was Lee asking me, how she got on in her rehearsals or how's Max got on at football. No. It was a picture from Live FPL, I think, of Ryan Sessegnon, and it just said, not all heroes wear capes. And I was like...
I mean, what a hero. I mean, you can leave your Vardys and your Richarlison. Sessegnon was the one for me. What a guy. An 8-pointer. So good. So good. We've had a super chat from Mark Dawdy. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat.
Thanks, Mark.
He says, thanks for the content this season. Not been live as much as I would have liked. That's okay, mate, but seen most episodes. So, Mark, thank you very much for
joining us tonight.
Really, really appreciate those words of thanks, mate. It's genuinely, and we'll talk about more on this on Sunday, of course, once all's said and done, but it has been a brilliant season.
It's been really...
It's been up and down, left and right, but it's been no dull moments, right?
Do you know, even with how badly my season's gone this year, I still have really enjoyed this season. It's been so different to normal seasons, and it's been really hard going at times, and it's made me think differently and do things differently, and sometimes that's a good thing. And even when it doesn't always end in your favour, you still look back and you go... Do you know what? I've really enjoyed myself. I've really enjoyed these streams. I've really enjoyed chatting
100%.
to you guys. And so even having had a rubbish end to the season, that's okay.
100%. So, Mark, thank you for the support, mate. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Just to finish up on this, the key decision that swung it for me this season, the one that really made the difference, was the captaincy. No question about it, because I was there on my trip last weekend and I was faffing about with my team, and I was largely done. I was pretty much done. And I flip-flopped so much.
Between who?
Son and Richarlison. Flip-flopped like you wouldn't believe on captaincy. I was on Son. When was the deadline? Saturday, wasn't it?
No, Sunday.
Sunday?
Was it? Yeah, it was a Sunday morning 10:30 deadline ahead of Spurs at 12.
That's right. So anyway, the night before,
we were
I went to
Eurovision.
bed. That's right. The night before I went to bed and I had it on Son. I was like, right, that locked in, fine. And I woke up in the morning and I just thought, come on, Lee. Son captain is not going to get you in the top 100k. You're going to have to be different. And I left the armband on Richarlison, and then as soon as the deadline passed, I went, what are you doing? Why have you captained an Everton player? You stupid idiot. I was like, Richarlison, what are you doing? And then, of course, he proceeded to get, 19 points. So, it was the right thing to do. But I was very, very undecided. Honestly, very undecided. Benching Cancelo, really didn't want to do that. I thought, well, his ego's going to hurt me if he goes off. Gordon with the 4, he had the double game. It could have had more, of course. So, in the end, pretty good. There was a couple of 50-50s I didn't choose. Like Ings and Watkins, I was like, well, it's a 50-50. I'll go with Ings because there's a bit of a doubt about Watkins playing. Yeah. He got the 10, Ings gets the 3, so that's a bit disappointing. But overall, you're right. I'm now firmly in the top 100k.
Very nice.
87k.
Well done.
Where I wanted to be, the KDB captaincy from 2 weeks ago and the Richarlison captaincy from this week has made a massive, massive difference to my season.
Richarlison's made a massive difference to
No, absolutely not. And we've got and we need to talk about him going forward because I've seen some of the videos in the Everton dressing room after the game last night. It looks as if he's got ice on his hip. He's up at 3 a.m. taking the piss out of Carragher on Twitter. You see this?
Well, look, I mean...
You see this?
I did,
what is he doing, this kid? He's obviously not going to...
He's Richarlison, what did you expect?
He's not going to play at the weekend, is he, surely? Surely. He's up tweeting through the night. He's either
Lee, that's
out
Thursday
drinking
night. No, don't be silly. It's Thursday night. The game's not until 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Well, and also, they now are safe, right? So what does he care?
Yeah, but what did Lampard say? Something about... He came out and said something about, we want to, now we've done it, we want to, finish the season on a high, go into the summer in a positive frame of mind, etc., etc., etc. I don't know. I live in hope.
Nonsense. I don't think if you are...
It's Everton, they've got to play...
They're going to Arsenal, aren't they?
So I live in hope.
You're not going to have it. I mean, Arsenal have got something to play for, and I'll talk about my Richarlison plans later on, but it does involve a transfer out. Not least because it's Richarlison. I'm going to bank the 38 and say thanks very much and probably never have him ever again.
So, hang on. So, sorry. So, Richarlison is in your actual team or in your free hit team?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So, I had him. Did I have him? I think I had him.
I can't remember what your actual team looks like.
And because I had him, because he had a back-to-back double, didn't he? So, he had a double where they played away twice and I had him for that. And then I kept him, if that's the right phrase, on the free hit.
Okay.
Because I wanted him as captain in those 2 home games. So he is in my actual team.
Okay.
And we'll talk about my actual team later on. But because of the ice on the hip, because of the fact Everton are through now, and I've very much got my red goggles on here, and Everton fans, feel free to come at me in the chat. I've got no problem at all. But Everton have got through on spirit alone, right? Spirit. There's no way you're 2-0 down and you come back 3-0 on tactics, and there's no, don't for a minute think Lampard is a good manager here. They've got through on spirit and grit alone.
No, hang on.
What?
Wait.
What?
Because I think you'll find that Dele Alli turned up.
Oh, go give me that Dele Alli.
Right, sorry.
Don't you start about Dele Alli.
I'm sorry. Dele Alli, for the first time in 3 years, decided at half-time to come on the pitch and warm up and G up the Everton fans. Did you see this?
No.
He's on the pitch, G'ing them up. He comes on. Honestly, I've not seen Dele Alli play that way for about 5 years. He was excellent. He was really, truly excellent. And he changed the game. And I think he's going to start him against Arsenal on Monday.
Well, he might as well.
And I think he'll be the reason that Arsenal lose on Sunday.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Dele Alli with a hat-trick
Can you just
beat Arsenal on the final day.
Can you imagine an ex-Spurs player gets you in the Champions League and an ex-Liverpool player wins us the title? How giddy will we be on Sunday night here?
Can you imagine the bromance between Eric Dyer and Dele Alli on social media when Dele Alli scores a hat-trick against Arsenal and Spurs come off at full-time against Norwich and be told that Dele Alli has beaten Arsenal?
Leighton September's in the chat. He's saying, Lee on Everton. No tactics, just vibes. Totally true. I massively believe it. Everton are not a good team and he is not a good manager. They've just got through on sheer, adrenaline alone. I don't know what it is. Couple of super chats. One from Raheem Khan. Thank you, Raheem, for the super chat. He says, was Sam a geography teacher in the past or is that a rumour?
Sorry?
You were a teacher in the past, but not geography.
Right.
Different subject.
I did teach.
Get in the chat.
I did occasionally teach some Year 7 geography.
Get in the chat and let us know what subject you think Sam taught when she was a teacher.
I did have a class of Year 7 geography. I'll be honest.
Hint, it wasn't FPL. Oh. Couldn't help myself. Go on.
Geography's not my strength.
Geography's not your strength. No, mine neither. But you were a teacher. So Raheem is right. You were a teacher, but not geography.
Where has this question come from? You don't have to re-super chat, by the way, with your guest, Raheem. Just pop it in the comments as to what you think I did teach.
Samar95 as well with another super chat. Thank you for the super chats tonight, guys. Much appreciated. Is it just a live? But you guys really make me smile. Oh, so it looks like Samar is somebody that watches maybe the videos back after we've been live. So Samar, thank you for joining us live. You guys really made me smile and laugh every time I was down. Cannot thank you enough. You are the best. Brilliant. Thank you, Samar. Honestly,
thank you.
That is what we are here for, guys.
The
we are not here for FPL goodness and stats and XG. And if you want all that stuff, sometimes we dabble. Sometimes we'll have a little XG. But if you want that stuff, go check out Black Box. Go check out you and Az on the QE. Go into the serious ones.
I think you'll find that on the official podcast this morning, I got a lot of stats reeled out.
Did you do a bit of XG on the pod this morning? Oh, check you out. Wow, okay, very good.
I spoke a lot of stats. They did say, some stats. I was like, all right, here you go. Fill your boots.
Okay, all right. Well, Raheem's back. He says, definitely English, Sam. English teacher.
No.
Joe Thurgood, maths teacher.
Oh, my Lord, definitely not. If I taught maths, that would be the end of the world. Although,
Pythagoras got nothing on you, is he?
Holly did used to be a maths teacher, yes.
Did she? Very good.
And apparently some people in the community can't tell the difference between Holly and I. Have you heard this?
Is that true?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that can't tell the difference between us.
Okay, all right. I'd say it's about 200k at the minute. Oh, God dear me, that's absolute shots. I come in left, right and centre, can't help it.
This
so there we go.
is going to be very expensive for you.
This 87k.
It's all going out live as well, so when we go to court to get divorced, all these digs you're having at me...
All right, Amber. All right.
It's going to come out, isn't it?
All right.
This whole community here.
This is it. Look at me, look. 87k now, that's it. Bertie Big Balls now. All over it. All over it.
Watch him crash and burn again.
Watch me
38 and end up at 100k.
No free hit. Won't have Son and he'll kill me. 120k. So 87k for me at the minute.
Everton will be the ones to kill you. It'll be Dele Alli.
Richarlison and Dele Alli. Killing my season. A rank changer plus 28 with that free hit. So that for me is what you call a free hit success. I'm pretty happy with that. So there we go. Let's talk about your team, Sam. Still some work to be done. Overall rank 336k.
We're at the point where there's no work that can be done with this.
It's just hopes and dreams now, right?
Oh, now Lee spilled his drink all down the wall.
Do you know what that is? That's karma, that.
That is because you've been...
That's karma.
That's because you've abused your wife. You've now thrown...
Gone and spilt my lemonade
all down the wall.
That's karma, that is.
This is what happens on... Look, Friday night with the FPL family, it's absolute carnage.
Don't take the mick out of your wife's FPL rank because karma will get you. There we go. I have to clear that up later on.
I have got to a point where nothing goes properly. So...
I can't wait to see your free hit. You got Dele Alli? Get him in.
I might.
Get him in.
Just for fun. Just might. Bring in Dele Alli, just for fun. I am at a point with my FPL team.
The guys in the chat are saying, you can tell Lee's been waiting 5 years for this moment. They said, Lee's in with the shots. Get him in while you can, Lee, because next season she's going to smash you again. So listen, it's going to happen. This is the only time in 5 years it's been like this. So it's got to happen.
Yeah. I'm not even worried about it.
You don't even care, do you?
I don't even care. This is the difference, is that Az said something to me on our Q&A today about this, and I was like, I genuinely can't care where Lee is. It doesn't bother me at all. But for you,
I care.
This is what you've been dreaming about for 5 years.
5 years in the making, guys. Come on. Give me a break.
I couldn't care. I just want to improve my overall rank. I just want a green arrow to end the season. That's it. Even if it's
you got to have a green arrow.
Well, Lee, this is me. The way things have been going for me, I could have the worst red arrow I've ever had at this point.
Talk us through briefly your game week 37 then, because there was some success. I mean, Mateta coming in with the 10. That's happy days, isn't it?
I mean, again, this is one of those weeks, isn't it? Because I look at them, and I looked at them before. So on Saturday evening, when I was watching the Eurovision Song Contest, I sat and I looked at my team and I thought, should I free hit? You could tell I was on my own because you were out, and I thought, and I pondered on it for a while, and I looked at the players that I would bring in on a free hit, and I was like, well, I can get a couple of them with my transfers. So do I really want to free hit? Because there were some players that I was kind of questioning whether I wanted to take out. Like, I didn't want to lose my Spurs players ahead of the game against Burnley. I was quite happy to have them, and free hitting just felt like I was not really going to get the right things or the right players in, and so I decided to stick with them. And there were a couple of occasions where, like, there's Matt Cash, how he's not returned, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I genuinely have no idea how that man has not got FPL points. It's just frustrating. then I obviously had no shows from Trent, and I thought, well, that's not that bad. It means I'll get Mason Mount. No show from Mason Mount, which meant
a lot of surprising benchings, wasn't there, to be fair?
Well, yeah, and, the Kulusevski one was annoying because I knew he'd not been very well, but he was in the, a lot of the Spurs rhetoric was, well, he's back in the squad.
Speaking of not very well, have you been eating lasagna again, the Spurs boys? What's all this talk on Twitter about you? They're all ill. What's going on?
They haven't got food poisoning. Apparently, Kane's a bit ill, so he's travelling to Norwich separately.
A lot of talk about some of the boys being not very well. Is this?
I might give you some dodgy lasagna.
I'm just repeating what I've heard on Twitter. That's all.
Is it all nonsense? Right.
Okay.
It's a load of nonsense.
Okay.
Conte himself come out and said it, and whatever Conte says is true.
We believe.
We trust in Conte. We trust.
Gonna hold on to him next season. Gonna be
absolutely.
You confident about
that? 100%. I'm more confident about Conte being the manager than you finishing the top 100k.
So am I. So am I. Oh my god. I deserved that shot, to be fair. That's got me. I deserved that.
Bang,
absolutely.
bang.
Absolutely.
I've lost my train of thought. Zaha. So this is the other thing I convinced myself to do. For those of you that have watched us on the FPL show for the last 3 years, you will know how much I dislike Zaha. And every time I'm asked a question about Zaha, I'm like, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. Somehow in my head on Saturday night, Zaha was a really good idea. Don't know why. Don't know what it was all about, guys. I can't be honest. But anyway, did get an assist, so that's something.
He was in a free hit as well. I think he was a reasonable pick.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he was really. I think if you look back at it, I think the thing that got me is I wanted a Leicester player, but I wasn't really sure what Leicester we were going to get. The games were nice, but I wasn't sure who was going to play. I wasn't sure whether they were actually going to turn up, because they haven't always this season, particularly of late. So I just thought, I'll go Zaha. Don't know why. And then the captaincy failed. And as soon as your captaincy fails,
that was a big one. That a lot went to Son, and I was very, very close, to be honest, because I did think you were going to batter Burnley. But
the captaincy fail though is just one of those things, isn't it? As soon as it happens, you're like, okay, this is a problem, because not only is my captain failed, he's a single game week captain that's failed in a double game week, where the double game week players are actually doing well.
And wasn't Spurs Burnley the first game of the game week as well? So it's like, as soon as that captain blanked, that was a bit like...
It was inevitable.
You're in trouble.
So, but I look back on it and I think and it's the same every week. I look at these red arrows every week and think, I wouldn't really have done it differently. No? So... Now it's free hit time.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, that's enough looking back at game week 37. Let's have a look at the fixtures for game week 38. Let's have a quick scan through these, Sam. Is there any that stand out? And to be fair, I think there's a number. There's a number that stand out. And that's why I think the free hit is a good chip if you've got it and it's left and you've saved it for game week 38. Or indeed, if for whatever reason you're still holding on to the wild card. I was listening to Planet FPL earlier, and Suj has still got his wild card in his back pocket. So he played his free hit in 37. He's now wild card in 38, which is effectively another free hit. Good. What a game week to play it in. You've got Liverpool at home to Wolves. You've got City at home to Villa. Spurs are away at Norwich, which is a game that there's something on it for Spurs. Something on it for Arsenal at home to Everton, who now suddenly don't have anything to play for. Everton, who are probably going to turn up there a bit knackered from last night, a bit knackered from being up all night, Richarlison texting. So Arsenal, I expect to win that game now. And you've got Chelsea at home to Watford. There's some really, really nice looking matchups here, isn't there? So I don't want to go through sort of fixture by fixture. What I would like to start with, though, is I'd like your opinion on what happened in that Spurs versus Burnley game, because I've got some thoughts about the way that Burnley set up and the way that Norwich set up in game week 37 that suggest it might not be quite such an easy game for you at Carrow Road at the weekend. But what did you think of the Spurs performance at Burnley then? You won it with the 1-0, the penalty, flaky looking penalty as well.
You are asking for it.
And to be fair, Burnley kept you at arm's length.
When we get off this stream.
Quite a period of time. So I'm just interested to understand from you, what was it about that game that meant Spurs didn't go big?
Well, I was expecting, and I said this to you on the last stream.
You had Kane, Son and Kulusevski. You were expecting, obviously, Spurs to score a hatful.
Well, on the last stream, if you remember, I said, and I was wrong, that I thought that Burnley would go all out attack because they had to win the game. So I was expecting Burnley in both of their double in their fixtures to go, right, we have to win games, so let's just throw everything at it. But they didn't do that.
Suicide against Spurs, though.
But they've done it before against us.
Spurs are the best side at exploiting that.
Yeah, but I was expecting a bit more of an attacking threat from Burnley. We've seen a bit more of that since the new managers, well, the stand-in temporary managers took over.
Michael Jackson.
What?
Michael Jackson, isn't it? It's Mike Jackson, I appreciate. Yeah, but yeah.
And then me.
Chamon, yeah. Go on.
Are you all right?
I'm giddy because it's the end of the season.
Are you feeling okay?
And I'm in the top 100k. I'm getting dizzy up here. 87k. I'm feel a bit lightheaded.
Do you need to go for a lie down?
I need Son to put me back in sort of 120k again and just finish where I belong.
You're going to be so badly punished for not having Son this weekend. Burnley. So yeah, I was expecting a bit more of that, but what they did was they set up with a very strong back line to defend, and they didn't have their key personnel in defence, and that I think meant that they worked a bit harder defensively to support them in terms of the midfield players and how they played the game.
Okay.
I also think that we set up slightly differently with when Lucas Moura plays over Kulusevski. We don't have the same physical drive from midfield as we do when Kulusevski's there. Obviously, Kulusevski had been ill that week, so difficulties there. I don't think that the game against Norwich will be anywhere near similar. Norwich, it's their last game at home. I fully expect them to play their style of football. I think, they're down. Why on earth would they compromise and try and... What are they trying to achieve?
Well, here's my view, is that it's a known, right? We know that Spurs are good against teams that dominate possession. Yeah. So you came to Anfield, Liverpool dominate possession, back four, high line, pressed up, that's our game. You did well, why not? Got a point.
Yeah.
Go to Arsenal, back four, reasonably high line. They have a lot of the ball. Spurs counter-attack, 3-0, good result. You play against Burnley, they play the back five, you have a lot of the ball, and as we know with Spurs, you struggle to create. Spurs' strength is in behind, counter-attack. Kane gets his head up, looks for Son or Kulusevski, you get in behind, bang. The most dangerous team in the league for that. Full-backs even making Sessegnon look good. But if you've got a team that sits and plays a back five, that you struggle to create, you struggle to break them down. Now listen, all season Norwich have played a back four. And they tried to play that slightly, they don't try to play it badly, obviously that's why they're going down, that offside trap. But in Gameweek 37 they didn't. They played differently. They played a back five.
Yeah.
So if they rock up to Carrow Road in their final home game of the season before they go down, and they won't want to get battered, with a back five...
Might not want to.
And allow you to have a lot of the ball, I'm just putting a seed of thought out there that might be a difficult scenario for Spurs to score a lot of goals in.
Do you know what this is?
What?
This is you trying to make yourself feel better about the fact that you don't own any Spurs players against Norwich.
Spurs you'll beat Norwich. I've no doubt that you will beat Norwich. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to captain Kane or captain Son, and a lot of people are going to captain Son this week, you want a couple of goals out of him. Now, can he do it? Of course he can.
20 points in the last two games against them.
Of course, absolutely could.
Kane.
But I'm just saying, Norwich...
54 points on the last four end of the season games.
I think they will set up to frustrate, and they will play a back five. You'll have a lot of the ball and you'll struggle to create. That's my feeling on it. I still think you'll win. I don't think it'd be big.
I don't think that they... I think they can try. But I don't think that... Okay. I don't think that they will... I think there's a lot on this game for Spurs, as we all know. The top four, the Champions League, the Golden Boot.
If you had a straight choice, Kane or Son captain,
it's really tough. This. So for those of you that haven't listened to the official FPL podcast yet, we spent a long time, or I spent a long time talking about this. I'm really torn between the two of them. I think there are real pros and cons to both. Kane on the final day of the season is phenomenally good, but. And he has a great record against Norwich, averages 9 points per match against them.
Yeah.
Son has a fantastic record in the last couple of games against Norwich. He's got 20 points in the last two meetings between.
Is Kane even going to start with this illness?
Yes, he'll start. Conte's basically said that. I mean, the question is he... I mean, he's been ill on Thursday. He's not been ill on...
Sure.
He's not ill he's not still being ill now. He's travelling up to Norwich. He's going to travel separately, not on the coach, blah, 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 but fine. He'll be fine by Sunday.
Okay.
I am really torn because in many ways I think Kane could massively exploit and he will be part of the goals. But I suspect that the majority of the Spurs players will be the attack. The way that we play and the way that we like to attack is most beneficial at the moment to Son. He's the one playing in the forward position. He's the one...
When you play against teams that give you that space in behind to exploit, yes, I agree. But against Burnley's back five last week, you struggled. And I think it'll be the same against Norwich.
We didn't really struggle. I mean, yes, but we were wasteful as well. There were so many moments in that game where Son could have had a hat-trick in that game.
He was high on the XG underachievers list. I did see him in the top five.
I think it's very easy to reel out the rhetoric that Burnley did well in that game. Burnley fans, don't come at me. I'm not saying that you didn't. But what I am saying is that Nick Pope has had two pretty good games against Spurs and who did they play next?
Burnley played Villa. In both of those games, he had good games. He made good saves. Son could have on a different day had a hat-trick. Yeah.
And against that Norwich defence, which are far weaker than Burnley's, and they don't have the same level of keeper capability.
Yeah.
He will exploit it.
My answer to my own question, I think, is if I had a straight choice between the two, I would be really, really tempted by Kane. I think it is far more a Kane game than a Son game, this Norwich game.
I think it's tight.
But Son is the form player, and the fly in the ointment for my argument is this X factor around the Golden Boot. All of a sudden, Salah's not been scoring. Son's got the Golden Boot. I noticed there was a bit from Conte in the press conferences today. If we get a penalty, it's still Harry that takes them. Harry's the penalty taker, always has been, always will be. So it doesn't feel like Son is going to get the penalties. Not that he necessarily needs them, but that's the one thing in my head that I'm like, if I go into this game, because I don't have any Spurs, as we said at the beginning, I've got a decision to make. If I do want to go for Son, it feels like a very shield pick, doesn't it, to go back to the sword and shield thing, because he's going to be highly captained, his EO is going to be high. If he goes off, I want him in my team so that I lessen the effect of me going back down below 100k, which is probably what will happen if Son goes off. I will not achieve my objective, which is to get into the top 100k. So what do? Do I play it safe, bring him in, and know that that's a bit of a weaseling out of something that I actually believe in? Because in my gut, I'm like, I don't think I need Son for this week. I think there's some really, really brilliant options out there. In Chelsea, I think Chelsea are going to batter Watford, by the way. Liverpool home to Wolves, Man City home to Aston Villa. There is other really, really good options. But he's going to be so highly captained that I do worry that he's going to ruin my whole season.
You know when you were on that boat?
It is an unpopular opinion. I understand this. But I'm here to give an opinion, and my opinion is you will not rack up a cricket score against Norwich. I think that they'll play that back five and they'll make it really hard. Can you beat them? Yes, of course you can. And if you win 1-0 and you get Champions League, it's happy days. But I'm talking about FPL. Is Son going to rack up a hat-trick against Norwich? I'm not sure that he is.
I think Son's going to win the Golden Boot.
Well, he might.
And if he's going to win the Golden Boot, he's got to score twice.
Yeah.
So
I know.
That's my take on it.
That is the fly in the ointment of my argument, no doubt about it. But straight choice, if I had them both, I think I'd captain Kane. I think he's more of a Kane game. So that's my opinion on the game. I do think Spurs will win. I do think they'll get the Champions League. I do think Arsenal will also win. I think Arsenal will beat Everton now that Everton have got nothing to play for and they've been up texting during the night and tweeting. So why
do you think they've been texting everybody?
Well, they've obviously been. You saw the celebrations afterwards in the Goodison Park. And by the way, that is a phenomenal comeback by Everton. Well, even as a red, I can you've got to understand that is some magic that they've spun there. No doubt about it.
You're not seriously telling me though that Spurs didn't celebrate after the derby?
I'm sure they did, yeah.
And that you didn't celebrate after the FA Cup. It's one night. One night on a Thursday is not going to affect their performance on a Sunday.
No, but that's a completely flawed argument because after the North London derby, the job isn't done, right? We've won the FA Cup, but we've got other things to play for. Yeah. Everton beat who was it? Palace 3-2. Job done.
I don't know.
And in their heads, even Frank Lampard come out and said in the post-match, didn't he? He said, difficult game going to Arsenal. He almost said, he didn't say these words, but he almost said, we didn't fancy that. going to Arsenal on the last day needing to get something. So mentally now,
I think this is your anti. This is your
maybe.
Everton.
Yeah,
this is your Everton. I really wanted you to not do well, or you've had a bad season. The Everton anti thing. I think that this might be. I look at teams like Everton. You might absolutely be right. They might go, we've done it now. Who cares whether we lose the last game of the season? I'm not interested. Or they might go, right, this is a season that's been horrendous. We've survived it. We're going to get a Premier League stay of execution, but we have to improve for next season. And Frank is surely saying to his players that he puts in the starting 11 on Sunday, this is your opportunity to prove to me that you're worthy of playing for Everton Football Club and that you don't need to be replaced this summer. Because in this summer window, I am going out to look for talent that's going to improve our squad and boost us up the league. That's how I see this game. I see this as an opportunity for players like Dele Alli to go, okay, I've had my opportunity and I've been a pivotal part of changing that game.
You got any Everton in your free hit then?
No. Haven't got any Arsenal either though.
The one player I'd have an eye on is given that Ramsdale's happy to let in every shot that he faces at the minute is Calvert-Lewin. I think if he was fit throughout this season, he's been so unlucky because he started like a house on fire, stop-start season. And listen, he's come back into the team and he's doing really well. So that plus, is he going to want to move Calvert-Lewin in the summer? Maybe he's got his eye on Arsenal. Maybe they've been linked with there before. Maybe he goes to the Emirates on the final day and he puts in a performance. I don't know, but listen, I've got Richarlison in my team. I'm absolutely want to get rid of him, and if I can't for whatever reason or don't, then he'll be on my bench because I just don't see that. He's got the hip injury. Looks as if he had some ice on that afterwards. He's got the job's done attitude now, and frankly, Everton are crap. They got through last night on hopes and dreams and spirit rather than tactics and good football. Right? They're
genuinely
rubbish.
The second half.
Rubbish.
The second half they played well, really well.
Whatever. Anyway, where else do we go to? Let's go to Chelsea versus Watford. Then tell me about the Chelsea players you've got in your free hit because I think this has got again the potential to be a bit of a massacre.
I was quite happy to triple up on Chelsea.
Did you see Tuchel's comments though?
Yeah.
Well,
so until Tuchel started talking, and then until I had a chat with Gianni today. So Gianni Q&A'd with Az and I today. Delightful that was. Lovely time talking to those two. And I don't know honestly what to do. I think Mason Mount is nailed. He's absolutely nailed as part of my free hit. He didn't get any minutes at all against Leicester. Fully rested. He's playing on Sunday. Have no qualms about him. The big question mark I have is about the defence. So I've got James in my actual FPL team, and he was going to stay as part of my free hit team, and he still might. However, Tuchel's comments make me think that there will be a lot of changes around the Chelsea team.
Just talk us through the wording then. Do you know the exact wording or what was said? He said something along the lines of he's ready to give the small periphery players and the younger players a bit more of a...
It wasn't the younger players. It was the players that have had less minutes recently.
That was it, yeah. Players that have had less minutes recently, he's willing to give them a bit more of a shout. So could we see something like Sarr playing instead of Alonso?
Yes, we could. We could see Aspie.
Yeah,
because he's had less minutes lately.
Possibly.
And then there was also the interesting stuff. So to be honest, I hadn't paid much. In the back of my head, I was thinking, right, okay, that probably puts James at risk. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll just go Rudiger instead. Really safe if I go Rudiger.
Well,
but
he's been saying his goodbyes, isn't
Rudiger spends the evening looking like he's going to cry, waving at the Chelsea fans last night, because of course that game was at home as well, saying his goodbyes, posting on social media.
He was certainly acting like a player that ain't playing this weekend.
Wasn't a player that's coming back to play against us in front of the same fans on Sunday.
Correct, yeah.
So now I'm looking at it thinking, okay, well now is Tuchel using this as an opportunity? Because there is a possibility, isn't there, with a lot of these players, the likes of Alonso, Christensen, Alonso, Christensen, Rudiger.
Hudson-Odoi, there's loads that can play, right?
Yeah, but also there's going to be a lot of ins and outs at Chelsea this summer, isn't there? And particularly in the defence. So is it possible that he goes, right, Rudiger, Alonso, Christensen, those of you that I'm not expecting to be here next summer, you take a seat and I'm going to try these other kids out, see how they are, the peripheral players in the squad, see what we need ahead of the new season. Possibly it is. And I'll be frank, even against Watford, it's massively put me off investing in the defence, because I think there's even a chance that Kepa starts in goal.
It's possible. It's entirely possible. They've got such a good squad, Chelsea, that anything's possible. I mean, what about one of the if I was free hitting this week, I think Lukaku is a brilliant free hit option.
He's played a lot of minutes lately. Is he part of that? I think he might be part of that. I'm now a bit unsure, right? I mean, like, so when I was chatting to Gianni earlier, he was saying if you were going to double up with the Chelsea attack, you go Mount and Havertz.
Yeah.
Because Mount's not played at all against Leicester, and Havertz coming for like 20 minutes. So
Havertz had a few less minutes recently, isn't
so
he?
Probably gonna. So I think actually
all of a sudden it's not as easy.
It's not. So you see my free hit team as it is at the moment, which I haven't changed it today. It's exactly as it was this morning. But I am now looking at the Reece James spot, thinking, I don't know how I feel about you. But I also, and I'm really torn on this one, because I know come Sunday afternoon when the team sheets get announced,
if he's on it,
I am going to be absolutely raging that I've taken him out, because the non-free hitters will have him.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I just looked into some of the stats as to where Watford concede their chances.
Oh, they're all from the left.
They concede tons of chances down Reece's side.
Yeah.
Loads.
So, and, I said that on the podcast this morning. I think he's this was my game I had on the podcast this morning, and I was chatting about it. They concede a lot from the left. Like, there's so many. For Reece James, this is the perfect game. And in FPL, I kind of this is why I want to own Reece James. But there's so much doubt in my mind about whether the guy's actually going to start that it makes owning him really difficult, because he's that much more expensive. I could play 5 in midfield instead, or play a forward player instead. I'm just not certain of his minutes. And
difficult, isn't it?
And do I want to go into a free hit on the final day with a really risky player? What will annoy me more? Going in and he gets benched, or not going in with him and he plays.
The good thing about the free hit is that if you go into it and he doesn't play for whatever reason, you're going to have a reasonable bench to cover it, aren't you?
Say that.
Someone's going to come in, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I mean, the bench is not huge. I mean, you'll see it in a minute. It's not the world's best bench, because part of the free hit thing is that you can build a squad that is fairly certain that they're gonna.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that in a second as well. And the only other fixture, I mean, there's plenty to talk about, and maybe when we see your free hit, we'll come back to some of these games. But Liverpool Wolves, what was said in some of the press conferences today by Jurgen Klopp about Salah and about Virgil and about some of the other players. I mean, in my head, I feel like, what have we got, 6 days between this game and the Champions League final? Klopp has talked a lot, not just before this game, but in the past, about rhythm and momentum. And we saw a few seasons ago when we played you in the Champions League final what actually a 3-week gap between the end of the Premier League and the Champions League final can do, which is players can lose it, right? They can lose that momentum. So I think Klopp is going to want to go a reasonable strength here, right?
Well, so Klopp said, and I quote, "It all looks good." He's talking about Salah, Van Dijk and Fabinho. "It all looks good. What we do with them at the weekend, I have no idea." Thanks, Klopp. Then he said, "I understand 100% Salah's goal-scoring battle with Son, but there is no chance we take any risks. But Mo doesn't want to take any risks. There is no doubt about that." And then he went on to say that he's expecting Divock Origi to get a special reception or farewell because he's a legend.
Right. Yeah, quite right. So what's your feeling on Salah? Bench with a view to coming on?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think will happen.
Yeah.
I suspect that Klopp will play full-strength team minus Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. And Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah will all take places on the bench, and he'll bring them on if is needed.
Trent and Robbo to start?
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
But that he
as well.
will give Salah 20 minutes at the end of that game, just to give him some minutes, because he's missed most games.
Whether we're winning or not,
I think he comes on for 20 minutes. Whereas I think Van Dijk and Fabinho stay on the bench if you're winning.
Possibly. I think Fabinho's injury was a little bit worse than the other two, so I would actually be surprised if we see him at all. Even on the bench. I don't know.
It's a whole... it's that rhythm thing, isn't it? It's about being in the matchday squad. It's about being around when it's happening. And I think Klopp is a very sensible, thought-through, composed manager. And he's not going to do a Poch like we did in the Champions League final with Kane and play somebody that's not quite right.
But he's got to play a team to win this game against Wolves, right? I back Liverpool, even if we were to miss a few players, I back us to beat Wolves at home.
I'm not being funny that you should beat Wolves without Salah. I mean, you can play Mane, Jota, Firmino, or you can play Mane, Jota, Jotty? Who's Jotty? Mane, Jota, Diaz. Like, you've got the front three positions, you've got plenty of opportunities to move Salah around and bring him on at the end of the game, sure. Same in defence. So you've not got back... All right, when Van Dijk's there, you're not as solid defensively. That is absolutely for sure. Look back to last season, Lee, when he was injured.
Yeah, but we didn't have Konate or Matip or anything. Did you see this, the FPL stats on Matip? He is the game's most valuable player. He's the MVP of FPL this year. Matip.
But nonetheless,
what an absolute boy.
Without Van Dijk, you aren't... He is so good and so commanding and controlling, and he's so important. You're not going to be as good without him, but... Matip
and Konate should be all right for Wolves at home.
Exactly. So I think...
And Diaz, Jota and Mane should be all right.
Exactly. So Klopp goes full strength, minus the 3 that have got knocks, and he brings Salah on for some game time before the Champions League final.
So if you didn't have the free hit then, so here's the question. Say you just put that to one side for a minute, you got Salah in your team, what would you do with Salah this week?
I'd sell
him. Is he a sell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, in my position...
You've got him actually,
he's back in my team. He's back in my team, and I don't have Son.
Easy route to Sonny.
Well, it's just too bloody obvious, isn't it?
Some sunshine in your life.
It's too bloody obvious. Plus, I want Luis Diaz, right? I want somebody with a bit more. I want a bit more fun. I don't want Son.
I thought you wanted the top 100k. What's wrong with you, man?
I do, and this goes back to exactly the dilemma I mentioned before. Do I be ultra boring and do Salah to Son and just basically cement my place in the top 100k and say I've had a really good season? Or do I be true to myself, back my feeling that Son is going to have a difficult game against Norwich and go a bit more fun with Luis Diaz at home to Wolves? That feels way more fun. Way more fun. I'll tell you what, let's put these fixtures to one side. There's loads we could discuss because I actually think the Brentford at home fixture, I think it's a good fixture.
Talk about that in a minute when you see my free hit team.
Oh, okay, so potentially some Brentford in there. I think obviously the City game against Villa is good, but you never know. Villa can frustrate.
Coutinho.
You never know the rhetoric, but obviously I'm back in City. I think City will do well there. Leicester at home to Southampton. I mean, listen, there's Vardy's going to want to see off the season in style in front of his own fans, isn't he? So there's lots of different...
Vardy played 3 games in 8 days?
Can he play 3 days? Well...
We did come off early.
He's on form, isn't he, at the minute?
He's just come back from injury. He's been in court half the week.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Can he play? I don't know. I could see him coming off early. Start and come off early.
All right, well, let's have a look. So we've had that graphic on the screen for too long about the fixtures. Let's have a look at your free... I've done it again, look. I've done it again. What is going on here? Look, I've got to sort this out. Hold on. This is not...
Have you been drinking today? You know when you said you've been at work? Have you
been
at work or have you done... Have you been,
you know... The podcasters are like, what are you doing? But what I've done is
podcasters can't see. They don't know what you've done.
A hashtag Team Lee on the free hit slide, probably from last week when I forgot to change it. But this is a hashtag Team Sam free hit Gameweek 38. And here are some of the key talking points from it. Give us an overview before we talk about some of these talking points.
Okay, so it's a 4-4-2.
Right.
Current 4-4-2 formation.
Yeah. Tsimikas, Gordon and Geldhart on the bench, I would suggest.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Geldhart would likely be the one that would go first bench, and he would come on if Reece James missed out, because although Bamford is apparently maybe able to get some minutes, I don't see him being able to get 90 minutes, and therefore probably Geldhart gets...
I feel bad for Bamford this season. I wonder what could have been for him in FPL this year. I do rate him. I think he's good. I don't think Leeds would be in quite so much trouble if they'd had him and Phillips fit all season. But that's another story.
So Dubravka in goal. He's currently in my team. So he's a player that's come from my team and stayed in my team.
They've got to go to Burnley, haven't they?
They have got to go to Burnley. I would prefer to have Schmeichel, but I don't have the budget for Schmeichel.
Right.
I think Schmeichel against Southampton is probably the best keeper of the week. I think I do like Mendy, but I worry about Kepa. Dubravka has got save points and bonus points though in the last 3 matches, so I think there's upside for him there. Also, don't think Burnley are going to score that many goals. If they get one,
yeah,
I think they'll be lucky, because I think the rhetoric still continues. Yes, Newcastle have had, a fantastic run under Eddie Howe, and
what if the news filters through?
The what news?
Like if Leeds are 1-0 up at Brentford.
Well,
Burnley got to go for it then, haven't they?
Well then, yeah, that's more reason to get Callum Wilson on a free hit.
Burnley
going for it is more reason to bring in Callum Wilson. By the way, more on Callum Wilson later. sort of like the Dubravka pick. I think that Burnley, they're not exactly scoring a lot of goals. I mean, the goal they got yesterday was a penalty. Like, it's not like they're scoring a lot from open play. They aren't making or creating a lot of chances.
All right. And what about your defence then? James, Cancelo, Trent? I mean, this is looking a bit template for a free hit.
Right. So you've said this to me twice this week, and I said this to Gianni and Az, and I think you're completely wrong because, as usual, how many FPL teams do you see that have got 3 Spurs players in them, a couple of Man City players in them, some Chelsea players?
I'm talking about them three in particular.
No, because they're not template if they're in a team that's got this many people in it.
Right.
They're only template if you have them in your team, where they're not going to add any value, because everybody's got to make some choices. But on a free hit, you don't have to make choices between these players. You can have them all.
I like Sessegnon, by the way.
I like Sessegnon.
I'm a bit jealous of Sessegnon. I think, not that we're looking for value at this time of the season, but, 4.3 looks sensational. Any decision to be made between him and Emerson Royale?
Not for me. No decision to be made.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
I had a look at some of the underlying creativity stats, and Sessegnon is right up there at the minute. He's banging form.
For me, I haven't even considered Royale. He can't put a cross in, whereas Sessegnon can. He's not in the right position to finish balls and score goals, but Sessegnon often is.
He's looked great, Sessegnon.
So for me, it's absolutely Sessegnon or you're not going the Spurs defence. But there are question marks over the other 3. I'll be honest. Reece James, Trent and Cancelo, I have big question marks over all 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Why Trent?
Trent, because if I get Robertson instead, the extra budget allows me to do so much else with the rest of my team.
With that. Yeah.
And I don't think that Trent, in one game week, I don't think that Robertson is a downgrade on Trent.
Not in a minute. Doesn't feel like it, no.
No, and I think Trent, yes, Trent is brilliant, but I think that Robertson could score just as many points as him this coming game week. I don't think that there's enough in it.
If it meant you could have a better keeper than Dubravka, I'd be going there, yeah.
Well, it means I can do a lot of things if I do that switch. So
okay.
Trent may yet become Robertson. I am really, really tempted to not have Cancelo. I don't like the fixture, particularly for a clean sheet.
They've got defensive problems, haven't they? What if Fernandinho plays back there again?
They've got defensive problems. I don't like the clean sheet. I think Villa will score.
Is Ake back for them?
I've no idea.
Not that that's a massive plus, but if he's back, it could make him a little bit better. I don't know.
The thing that puts me off, a bit like you said when you benched him on free hit last week, is that if he goes off, it's a problem.
The ELO kills you, yeah, all right.
But who cares when you're at 300k?
Yeah, that's it. Have some fun.
So
get Dele Alli.
So Cancelo, he might go, yeah, and Reece James I'm really torn on. I just don't know how I feel about having him because he's such a risk going into this game in terms of whether he's going to start. So Sessegnon basically is the only one that I'm guaranteed to have. Oh, and I'm guaranteed to have Tsimikas because the man is a legend.
Yes.
And
love a bit of the Greek Scouser.
I don't think I'm going to need 3 well, I've said it now. Touch wood. I won't need 3 subs, so he can be my 3rd sub. And I just love the man so much.
You love Tsimikas,
I love the man so much.
I don't know who cheered louder when he scored the winner in the cup final.
I recorded a video of me watching Tsimikas take the penalty and sent it to Lee.
Why do you love Tsimikas so much?
He speaks to me. He speaks to my heart. There's something about him.
I tell you what it is. He just plays with so much joy, right? I've seen a couple of question marks being asked of him recently about how can this guy be happy? Because he never plays. He only ever plays every now and again. In Carabao Cup, he only ever every now and again comes in, and he's really good. He could start for any other Premier League team. I tell you why. Because he absolutely living his dream at Liverpool. He loves playing for Klopp.
I just think he makes me smile. Whenever I see him,
yeah, he's great.
He makes me happy because he's always happy. He's always jolly. Comes on, he does a job, he plays well, he smiles a lot. And then when you win, the man dances. And not only does he dance, like he dances around the trophy when he won.
Anyway, listen,
I just love him.
Move on, because you're going to 3rd bench him probably, so move on.
I wish he was going to start, but he won't. And then the midfield, I think I'm fairly settled on.
De Bruyne, Son, that needs no introduction. Yes, absolutely.
And Mount.
Mount looks pretty good.
He goes into that.
For this game week as well.
Eriksen is my let's have fun differential pick because he's so lowly owned.
Could be good, you know. I think they could smash Leeds. I know Leeds need a result, but
so Brentford are on to finish. If Brentford win against Leeds and Brighton lose against West Ham, Brentford will finish in the top half of the table.
What a good season they've had, Brentford.
And
fair play to them.
For me, that is massive. And going into this game, do you remember the rivalry between Brentford and Leeds in the Championship?
Yeah, what's that about? There is something there, isn't there?
They used to sing "Mind the Gap," Thomas Frank at him.
Yeah.
Like there was all this like bitterness.
Haven't I seen a bit from Ivan Toney this week on social media?
They want them down.
Yeah.
They want to relegate Leeds.
There's something in that, I think.
They want to relegate Leeds, and they're at home. In front of their fans.
Yeah.
And we saw what they did on the opening day of the season in front of their fans.
I like that. I'll buy into that story.
I'm fully bought into the Brentford. I might have gone totally off plan here, but I am fully invested in the Brentford rhetoric that says we want to send Leeds down. Sorry, Leeds fans, if there's any of you watching, I don't particularly want you to go down. I just think that Brentford are. That's how they are thinking. The rivalry has come back up.
Definitely some needle there, isn't there?
Oh, they're not happy.
I'd be having Ivan Toney on a free hit.
And Brentford have had a fantastic season, and Eriksen is a nice cheap enabler. Eriksen also looking for a new club for next season, and that plays a part in my thinking, like we always talk about with Zaha.
Right.
I think Eriksen's just a really nice differential. Plus, Leeds have given away.
They are shocking at their Leeds.
Well, they're terrible, but they've also given away like the second most set pieces in the league this season. Who's on set pieces?
Okay.
Is Eriksen, which is why I've gone with him of the Brentford midfielders. And then Gordon's on the bench at the moment, doing benching things.
Harry Kane, no need to explain that one. Ivan Toney, I think we've gone through, and Gerhard is your third.
Gerhard's just on the bench
okay.
because he's probably going to play, and Leeds do have to get something or have to try. So there he is.
Okay.
Tony there for the same reasons I've just been speaking about with Eriksen.
So in terms of the talking points we've got there, so Brentford we've just discussed, going double Brentford attack on any other game week might look a little bit overdoing it, but there's definitely something there about them wanting to relegate Leeds at the Brentford Stadium. So I like that. I buy into that story. Royale versus Sessegnon, we've had a conversation. We think Sessegnon is the one to have. No Liverpool midfielder? Is that a bit of a gap in the team? Or
Maybe.
are you quite happy to make that sacrifice?
Well, maybe, but I think you have to make some sacrifices. So there's a few players in there that I would like to have. So Luis Diaz is one of them. I would like to have had Luis Diaz. You have to make some compromises somewhere. And maybe actually it's the defence that compromises that allows me to bring up and invest some more money into the midfield there and to have him. I think it's a shame that Firmino isn't guaranteed to start because I could easily...
It's not Christmas, you know.
I know, but I could easily get to him. Like, he would be a much easier pick in the forward line because I quite like the midfield with Gordon on the bench.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of others I really like. So I think it's missing a Liverpool midfielder, but I'm not sure who or what or why. Diaz, probably.
Yeah.
Really like Jarrod Bowen.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even discussed him.
And he's not in there
33
either.
points in his last 3 weeks.
So I keep trying... I mean, I feel like I need about 8 midfielders, and this is the other problem.
This is the thing with the free hit.
You've got to make choices.
You could make 2 teams.
You've got to make
You
choices.
could.
So, Diaz, yes. Bowen, yes. Callum Wilson speaks to me. I thought he was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, even minus a tooth against Arsenal.
Unlucky. That was a bit graphic, wasn't it, that? Yeah.
Unlucky not to get points, actually, in that one. And I think, is...
And what about Vardy and Maddison as well? We've not discussed Leicester at home to Southampton, which is a great fixture with those two on fire. Sadly lacking in this team, so there are some misses in here.
Rodgers did talk also about rotation, though, giving him game time. Okay. And Maddison's played a lot of minutes. I worry he might get a bit of a rest in this one. He might start Barnes instead. And that one of those midfielders always misses out if he plays Iheanacho up top with Vardy.
Okay.
Vardy's played a lot of minutes in the last couple. It will be 3 starts in 8 games. Is he actually fit enough for that? Probably he is, yes. But could he come off on 60? Yes, probably. He's difficult. He's at such a difficult price point. So getting Vardy... Like, if Kane is suddenly really poorly and misses out, then it's easy to go to Vardy instead.
I think you're with, what are you, 330k going Harry Kane? That's just...
Oh, shut up. I'm not going without Harry Kane.
Vardy, Lukaku, there's loads you could have in there.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Just saying. What's Kane going to do for you? Nothing, really, is he?
So, around my EO this week, he was a big differential.
Wow, Lukaku and Vardy are going to be huge. Go for one of them instead. Come on, have a bit.
Lukaku's going to get benched. He's going to play Havertz instead. So I don't know what you're talking about with Lukaku. And I'm definitely not going to go...
You can't not have Kane.
And I'm not going Vardy over Kane. Are you talking to me? I'm Harry Kane's biggest fan. can.
All right. Okay. Well, listen. There's your free hit. That's how it's looking.
It will change, everybody, to be clear.
Sure.
And I will post it to social. And those of you that are in the Slack, you'll hear from me tomorrow with my tales of woes. But those defenders, Robertson over Trent, I can see that happening.
You can see it happening. All right. Well, let's talk about our... Just before we get into my team, because I've got my free hit in 37, so my team is back, and I've got some changes to make. And we'll talk about that in a second. Just a quick shout out for our Patreon leaderboard in the May Manager of the Month competition. Right now, Sid is at the top, 250 points, which in 2 game weeks, because May's Manager of the Month is game weeks 36, 37 and 38. And of course, we've had 2 so far. To have 250 points after 2 game weeks is pretty ridiculous, by the way. I think Sid did have KDB and he had Richarlison as well last game week, and I think he might have had Maddison as well. So Sid sitting pretty at the top of the May Manager of the Month competition over on patreon.com/FPLFamily. Rajesh is in there as well on 246, and then Adam coming at 242. And actually, the chasing pack behind those 3, not too far behind either. So if you want to go check us out, patreon.com.
I'm not sure I've even got 100 in the last 2 game weeks.
Well, you were quite low down on the spreadsheet when I was putting it together.
I'm surprised you even bothered to put me in it.
Well, I've got to add you. So patreon.com/FPLFamily. If you'd like some extra content from us, if you'd like the weekly Ohana podcast that we do, if you want the monthly competitions, then check us out over there. Come and support us over there as a channel. A good time to join us because we will not be billing our patrons for June or July, right? So June, we ain't creating a lot of content, quite frankly, because there ain't a lot to talk about. FPL takes a pause, so do we, so does the Premier League. In July, we might create a little bit of content. If the game gets up to speed, we'll do a little bit for our patrons around, what the player prices are, etc., etc. But June and July is completely free. So if you are an existing patron to continue supporting us into next season, all you need to do is absolutely nothing. You won't get billed in June, you won't get billed in July, and then in August when we kick off again, you'll be billed at the beginning of August, and we'll do the competitions, and we'll be back and singing and dancing as we have been this season. But if you want to come and try us out, if you want to, come and look at some of the stuff, some of the previous competitions we've run this month, some of the podcasts that we've been putting out. We put out some Ask Us Anything podcasts where actually it's nothing to do with FPL. It's our patrons come along and we just chat crap basically, don't we? We just talk about anything that the guys want to talk about. And we've got a few of those podcasts that are available for you to listen right now for free in June and July if you want to come and support us over on patreon.com/FPLFamily. All the links are in the description below. And then back in August, we'll get going again and we'll start the season all over again back in August. So there we go. Good luck to Sid and to Rajesh and to Adam in the final game week of the season. Let's see what happens in game week 38. And then we'll be announcing the winner once we've totaled up all the scores and we figure out who is the FPL Family Manager of the Month for May. All right, Sam.
We'll know by then who won the league, who came in the
top 4. Yeah, and we'll be getting the predictions out and everything, won't we?
Whether you predicted anything correctly or not. Well, whether I predicted anything correctly or not.
Well, and whether Liverpool are Premier League champions or not. Here is my team for the game week, and I've got it in a separate window here, so let me just flash it up here. Here we go. So,
why did you never design a kit?
I don't know. I just never got round to it, did I? Never got round to it. So there's my team. I need to scroll down a little bit just so you can see the substitutions. There we go. That should be pretty good on the screen. So, again, I'm not feeling too bad about it. I've got Trent and Robertson, who I both think are going to play, and I'm not feeling like I want to move at either of those guys. I've got Cancelo right now, who I think is going to get the start against Villa. I agree with you. I think Villa can score in that game, and I think City have got a pretty, I wouldn't call it a makeshift defence, but they're missing a couple of key players. But nevertheless, I'm not going to transfer Cancelo out, I don't think.
Would you want a free hit?
Would I want a free hit?
No. If you were, what would you do with Cancelo?
Would I have him on my free hit? Depends where I was. If I was protecting rank, I would. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't have him. I'd have somebody else. I'd go somewhere else. But the decisions I've got to make, because I've got Mason Mount, I'm okay with that. I've got Saka, I'm okay with that, because I think Everton are going to turn up and be knackered and not bothered at the Emirates. And I've got De Bruyne, and of course I'm happy with having De Bruyne.
So lack of white there.
Even Eddie Nketiah's looking all right. But it's these two on the left-hand side here. Salah, who I think is going to start on the bench. And I've got Richarlison there as well, who I think has got this injury and at best is probably going to be benched. Thank you, Raheem Khan, for the comment in the live chat. He says Hwang is still there. You're quite right. Hwang is still... I don't know. I don't know how.
Hwang has been super glued into Lee's team. It's actually impossible for Lee to transfer him out.
I don't know why he's there, but he just is.
Do you love him?
Might even have him game week 1 next. Why not? He's a permanent fixture
Is
from now on.
Is Hwang your Simicast?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. But listen, he's still in my team. I've just never got round to taking him out. Raheem is the reality. And at the minute, I've got Roberts at the back as well, which I'm not mega keen on. Newcastle in a decent vein of form. So here are my dilemmas in terms of transfers. The safe transfers to make are Salah to Son, and then I have a bit more money and I could do Richarlison to, well, anyone, frankly. I'll get Vardy or something like that, can't I? So I that's possible. I'm not sure if I'd have quite enough money for Vardy, actually. I'd have to shop around in the kind of Watkins arena or something like that, or I could upgrade Shah or Roberts to a Chelsea defender if I was a bit. Maybe I could play it a bit more.
You could go even Tony.
Yeah, and do you know what? I wasn't even really considering Tony until I saw your free hit team, and then I read about that rhetoric about they want to get leads down.
Oh, you see.
Well, listen, this is why we do these streams, right? Because I'm learning, and I think the Tony pick, I do quite like it. If I was going to go Salah to Son and be boring as hell, then maybe having a little bit more fun with that Richarlison spot with an Ivan Toney might be where I go, actually. Yeah, I might think about that.
Massively up. You could take a -8 and massively upgrade.
No, listen.
Gordon.
No, listen. It's -8. If you're going to take a -8, you do so because you want those hits to be paid back over the next few weeks. We're in game week 30. I'm not taking a -8.
You might get the top
50k.
Take a -8. Take some chances. Bring in some players.
Don't you start them mind games with me.
You might get in the top 50k.
Don't you start... You'd be telling me to start Hwang next. Don't you start those mind games with me.
Nobody's ever going to tell you to start Hwang.
Maximum I'm taking is a -4. Maximum. And up until today, I was quite keen to have Alonso or Reece James. And I was kind of leaning towards Alonso. But the Tuchel comments have put me off, as they have you, which makes me think that Mason Mount is probably just my...
Tuchel's just rouletting us all, isn't he?
He's probably the only Chelsea player I'm going to go in with, Mason Mount, I think.
I thought you wanted Lukaku.
Well,
I thought you were telling me that he was a great option.
On free hit he is, I think he is, yeah. But I'm not going to get him in here, am I? He's on free hit. I like him. I think he's really good.
He won't start.
So that's where we are at the minute. Salah and Richarlison, if I was going to do a -4, it would be for those two. Do I go for Diaz and then go for Kane or Vardy? Or do I go for Son and go for Tony or somebody like that?
Oh, yeah, you could, because it'd be quite a lot more money out of going Salah to Diaz.
Yeah, Salah to Diaz is a significant downgrade.
Well, why don't you do that then? If you want...
And have Kane. Yeah, well, I'd rather do
feel
that.
Like Kane is the
I would
man.
rather do Diaz and Kane than Son and Tony, for example.
Would you
I'd rather
captain
have
Kane?
No, I'm Captain De Bruyne this week. Captain De Bruyne. Big game, Kev.
Right, hang on, sorry.
But
you're going to captain De Bruyne?
Yes.
In the week where
You play FPL with your heart, with your head, not your heart. Every single piece of me would love Kevin De Bruyne to have a stinker and for Villa to get a draw or a win out of
Even
that
if
game.
it costs you the top 10k, 100k?
Yes, because if we won the league. Of course I would. But I play FPL with my head, Sam, and I do not think that's going to happen. I think City are going to turn up.
Where's your head been for the last 5 years?
I think... Oh! My God! That's the second one! That's savage! That is savage! I might have had a couple of little pops, but that's 2 absolute hammer blows you've had on me.
Oh, I found myself really funny.
Disgusting. I'm not having it, guys. I'm not having it. I'm looking forward to this break.
You know that you don't get a break from me. Just
very
because the
true.
season ends, I don't leave.
That's very true.
We are married.
That is very true.
I will be here for the next 50 years, if not more.
Wow. So anyway, that is my thoughts, guys. I'm thinking nuclear atoms. Lee's got violated. I feel it. I feel it, nuclear atoms. I feel it.
You deserved that. You were horrible earlier.
Andrew's in there saying, Lee, Lee's trying to jinx KDB. If I do, happy days.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Happy
Is that
days.
what this is?
Well, listen, it's one of those, isn't it? What I think is going to happen is I think City are going to turn up. I think they're going to beat Villa and they're going to win the league.
Right.
So I'm going to captain De Bruyne.
Okay.
If that doesn't happen,
yeah,
great, because it means Liverpool win the league, and I don't care about FPL. So either way, I'm happy. Is basically what I'm saying. Either way,
apart from you won't, because you'll be sitting in the theatre watching your daughter do a ballet show.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. Final game of the season, guys. And I will not even be watching the game.
You're going to watch the first half?
Not even going to be watching the game because our daughter has a ballet show to be in.
You watch the first half?
And I have to do the right thing.
And then...
Which is watch the football.
And then just turn off all of your devices, come
Never
sit
gonna happen, is
in
it?
a dark theatre.
Every dad in that theatre is going to have Sky Go on their phone.
No, they won't.
With a headphone in. Every dad.
You could sit next to my dad because he can have it in the radio in his
He'll
hearing
be
aid.
listening to it.
And then he could just go 1-0 in your ear. Dad's going to the pub with you to watch the first half of the football.
Is he? Oh, good, okay.
he said to me, I hear Lee's going to the pub for the first half because Evie's not until the second half. Is that true? I said, yes. He went, can I go? I said,
yes.
So it's just you,
can.
your father-in-law, and probably your son when he gets wind that you two are going to the pub.
And most of the men in that room, in Harpenden public halls where the ballet thing is.
Also, some dads will have the reverse problem of you because their daughters will only be in the first half, so they won't be able to watch the first half.
Right.
I mean,
if it gets to half time and City are losing and we're winning,
you can watch the first.
I'm not sure I'm coming back.
I mean, you have to because otherwise your daughter will never forgive you, and I will divorce you.
Oh, every clown. Right, let's move on, Sam. So that's my dilemmas for the week. We'll talk about how that goes and how I get on without Son, probably, on Sunday.
I genuinely cannot believe this without Son rhetoric.
Oh, there we go.
Are you just saying this to wind me up?
No, I'm not. I just think it's a boring move. If I do it, it'll be because I'm feeling boring. And I want to get in the top 100k, and it's a boring move.
It would suit you.
Boring, isn't it? Boring to do it. Don't want to do it, but maybe it's the sensible thing to do. I don't know. Anyway, talk to everybody about what's coming up next week on FPL podcasts and shows, because there's a bit going on. We've got some season reviews to do, haven't we?
Of course, everything is coming to an end because it's the end of the season. So roundups going on everywhere. I recorded the official FPL podcast this morning, so that's out now.
Check that out if you haven't already.
For Gameweek 38, I've mentioned that a couple of times, but that's out now. So that was with Lars and also Matt Holland, who I've absolutely loved podding with this season. We put it together.
He's a good lad, isn't he? Yeah.
A few times this season, and he's absolutely lovely. So yes, check that out. And then on Monday, Lee will be recording the podcast Season Review. Season Review,
FPL official podcast with me, Jules Laurent, and Mr. Mark Southerns, along with Kelly Summers on Monday. That should be a good one.
Jules Laurent for a minute. Triple captain Richarlison.
I saw. Yes. I'm sure he'll mention that on
Monday.
He'll
be intolerable on Monday. So good luck with that one. And then on Tuesday, Lee and I were up very, very early to go and record the final FPL show of the season down in Uxbridge.
That is true,
So that is going live at 9:30. So if you are in a country where you can watch it live, 9:30.
9:30 on air?
On air on Tuesday
we're up
morning.
Early for that, aren't we?
I think we've got to be there at 7.
Joking?
I think so. Might be 7:30. Probably can't even have a coffee on the way down.
Oh, I will need one.
Yes, Lee will be on the podcast.
I'll still be hungover if we win the league.
What, on Tuesday?
If we win the league, I might be.
We're going on a date night on Monday as well.
Are we?
Yeah.
I might be a hungover for that if we win the league.
I might not go on a date night with you, to be honest.
Can you imagine how giddy I'm going to be on that podcast on Monday with Southerns and with Jules if we win the league? I won't. It'll be like, what do you think of FPL, Lee? I don't care. Champion.
It's going to be intolerable.
Yeah.
And then I've got to go through this again on Saturday night.
Yes. Well,
to be honest, though, I might be just as intolerable if we've come fourth.
You might be.
Because to be honest...
You will come forth now, come on.
Well, you've just said you don't think we'll beat Norwich.
You'll beat Norwich.
You said you think Norwich are going to put out a back five and we're just going to find it really hard.
You will beat them.
Son's not going to get the golden boot.
You will beat them. It won't be big, but you'll beat them. It won't be big, but you'll beat them. There we go. So plenty coming up next week.
So yeah, lots of us.
Loads of FPL
and then we will do an Ohana, one final Ohana of the FPL season to review the season for our patrons as well on Friday.
And then it'll be a bit of a gap, I suggest. There'll be a bit of a couple of weeks off.
I think we might have a couple of weeks off, and then we'll pop back with an Ask Us Anything, because I must admit, I love the Ask Us Anythings. Yeah. I love what they come up with, particularly when they come up with these ridiculous questions. So we'll have a couple of weeks off, and then we'll be back with an Ask Us Anything, I'm sure.
There we go. Right, it's a good one to end it on. There, patreon.com/FPLFamily if you want to go and join us over there, free for June and July, and then we'll be billing again in August when we get back on it. All that's left to say, guys, is good luck in the final game week of the season. If you're playing your free hit, good luck. If you're like Suj from Planet and you've still got your wild card to play for whatever reason, good luck, Suj, and all the wild carders for game week 38. And if, like me, you're trying to get through game week 38 in the top 100k without Min Son, all you can say is good luck. You might need it. Cheers, guys. See you Sunday.
Green arrows, guys. Good luck, Liverpool.